And
Welcome
we're
back.
back. We changed again our scenario.
Because it's an extremely sunny day here in Tbilisi and we have decided to come outside.
So let's discuss today. So we talked about micromobility, education, scaling Georgian companies to European markets, and open innovation.
We have a question for our dear audience. What do you think about work, how it will be changed? Not in like 20 years, but right now.
And our next speaker, Giorgi Laliashvili, will give us answers to these questions. He's the co-founder and commercial director at Tech. He's a tech entrepreneur with experience in building companies around scalable digital products from robots to web browsers, and also a former manager of the first state-owned business incubator in Georgia. Giorgi, we will leave the stage for you now.
And now we're going to go to Levan and Lal to taste the delicious, healthy food.
Hello. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm going to launch the presentation now and hope it goes well. So it's very nice to be around you today. As you introduced me, I'm an entrepreneur and the co-founder at Tech, where we are building the first smart browser for the internet multicappers of today, which is people like me and yourself. And I'm going to talk about my vision of the future of work. But first I have to say that I strongly believe that the future of work will be exactly how we imagine and we want it to be. But before we jump into these details, let us discuss what is work anyway, right? So by a very dry definition, work is an activity involving mental or physical effort in order to achieve purpose or a result. But in reality, it is also the process of creating the value, and we often forget about it. And the most important thing that I want you to remember from today is that job and work are not the same thing. They are actually very different. So in a sense, job is just a subset of work that we do for others to make money for ourselves, while work is something that we do to feel meaningful, to feel happy. Because in the end, we are creative and social beings, and we are kind of wired to create value, and this is what drives us. Now, there are thousands of different kinds of values that can be created by different people through different kinds of work. It could be the economic value for your company where you work in return for the financial value for your family and yourself. You could be creating an emotional value if you're a psychologist, for example, or if you're an artist, or you an intellectual value for your students while teaching them. In any case, you are creating something that is valuable and meaningful for other humans, right? And to understand the process and the future of work, let us briefly recall the past of work and how the work evolved, right? So, to start with the times when we were hunters and gatherers, what people did at that time was chasing prey and run from the predators, and our sole purpose was to survive. That's why we existed, basically. And then later, we started to tame animals and grow crops and started farming, and the agriculture pushed us into building larger settlements and created more kinds of work, different kinds of work, and generated plenty of resources for the farmers and also for the others who did not want to farm. Instead, they could do craft. They could create tools or clothes for the exchange of the resources that the farmers got. And afterwards, in the industrial era from the late 18th century, the craftsmen and farmers and all the other people that did services, they moved to, they found their jobs in the factories where food and tools and everything was mass produced. And this caused even greater change to the kinds of work that we did before. Now, we have to know that back then, people used to work really hard. And the only way to earn more and make a living was to work even harder, right? And there was no notion of flexible work hours or humane working conditions or equal rights. And the factories really demanded only our hands, but not our hearts or minds. And there were also no phones back then to distract us from work. And most people used to work for one employer for their entire life and do only one job for their entire life before they retired. Finally, the advancement of the engineering and information technology has resulted in an unprecedented sharing and availability of knowledge, including the knowledge about the other exciting stuff that we can do, right? And the knowledge of how to do things that we have never done before. We can just look up how to design great products, and we can watch a couple of tutorials and start doing it ourselves. And so today, if you compare the things, today a new graduate might be working in a firm as an intern, for example. At the same time, he might drive a Glovo or an Uber and work on a startup with his friends and can do it all at the same time. In fact, and I was pretty surprised when I read this, but according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2018 in US, the average person changed their jobs 11 times throughout their life, 11 times. There is so much work to be done, so much different kinds of work to be done, and we want to try everything. But the question is, why are we trying to do so many things? And more importantly, why are we doing all this at the same time? What is the urge? Are we rushing to somewhere and want to do as much possible as in such a short time as possible? Or are we just looking for a domain where we will be most efficient, where we will excel? Maybe we are just looking for a workplace with flexible working hours, with good conditions, and with nice people to work with. Or we could possibly be searching for a type of work that would make us feel important and therefore feel happy doing it. It could also be just because we want to make more money, so we want to do more so we can earn more. And the Japanese think and believe that it is all together, and it is the concept of the meaningful work that they call ikigai, as you can see on the slide. It is a notion of the reason of being, which says that if you do what you love and you are good at, and if the world also needs it and you can get paid for it, then you have found the purpose of life, right? But remember when we were talking about the jobs? Well, if you have a job, and there's a 95% chance that you do, according to Statista, then you are definitely getting paid for it. And it means that you're probably doing something that is valuable to at least someone, right? Because they're paying for it. And it also means that you naturally want to be good at it because you want to keep your work, you keep your job, and your employer demands you to be good at what you're doing. And even if you're not employed and you're just doing something that the world needs, you still have to be good at it because the world demands you to be good at it. The world needs what you're doing, right? And even if the world doesn't need what you're doing, but you're just doing something that makes you money, you naturally want to be good at it because you might want to do it faster, do more of it, and earn more money. So in a sense, the only part of this chart which allows you to focus on the process of what you're doing and enjoy the process is the love of the thing that you're doing. The other three are only focused on the result and demand you to do something more efficiently, more quickly, in a better quality. And you don't have enough time to pay attention to the process of what you're doing and enjoy the process of what you're doing. So this is a very simple equation that I want to show you now. If by definition work is the effort done to achieve the result, and if the efficiency means, to achieve the same result with the less effort, then the efficiency means less work, right? And this is exactly why we're so hyped about efficiency today, because the society demands from us to be efficient. this is why we think that we need so many productivity tools to achieve more by doing less. And this is exactly the answer to the future of work to me, right? This is what we really, really want. We want to do stuff that we enjoy doing. We want to do it flexibly, right? We want to do it from wherever and whenever we want, either alone or with other nice, unstressed people like us. And we want the other important stuff to be done as well, but we just do not want to be doing it, right? Because there's no time to enjoy the process. Now, this is why we're creating these countless physical or digital tools to be more efficient at the result-oriented tasks, to finish them very quickly and have more time for the meaningful work. We've even created the machines and software that would do the result-oriented work for us so that we would not even have to do it on our own at all, right? And I'm not going to go through the countless statistics and numbers about how many million jobs are being taken from us by the machines, because we already know that this is happening. It has been happening for more than a few decades now, right? We have the robots building machines that we drive, the cars that we drive. We have robotic platforms that move the freight and sort warehouses. We have with the cyber arms that grow and take care of our plants. And this is already existing, right? We already have these. We have the food delivery drones, pizza delivery drones. We have self-driving cars, which do not need a driver at all. And we even have the cook robots that can cook thousands of different meals for us. We have the artificial intelligence that beats the world champion Lisa Dor in Go 4 times out of 5. We have a musical composer, which I don't have the slide for, but there's a musical composer called Emily Howell, which is actually an artificial intelligence. And we also have a robot that can learn how to fold a t-shirt from you just by watching you do it. And imagine what would happen when these machines and these artificial intelligences start to teach each other at some point, right? So, but my point is, the automation will take over every job that it possibly can. But this is not some evil thing going on its own, right? This is something that we are doing. We are contributing to this because it is a part of what we subconsciously consider the meaningful work, to automate every possible routine activity and have more time to focus on something that is truly important for us. And what is truly important for us? What is that we really love doing and enjoy doing? I believe that this is something that machines will never do as efficiently as us. And I believe that it is defining our own meaning, connecting with other humans, and creating the most unique value that we can create by sharing our thoughts and emotions. And sharing our emotions is crucial, right? And for us, at least. This is why we came up with the emojis, because the means of connecting remotely between each other for people, the tools that we had before were not efficient enough in transferring the emotion. And this is why sometimes we cannot stop scrolling through our social media feeds and observing other people's lives, even though we know we have work to do. We have to write a thesis, or we have to prepare our speech for the Touch conference, but we just cannot stop observing other people's lives, because connecting and empathizing with other humans is something that nurtures our subconscious mind. And this is something that to the day, no one can do better than humans, but who knows? Like maybe even this will change someday. And maybe the artificial intelligence and the robots will take over even this purpose from us. And this is a very scary thought. And I've had my fears thinking about this. I've I've had the fears that we will create the super intelligent machines that will take away all of our purposes. And I've also had the hopes that maybe for the infinite time, infinite future, humans and technology will collaborate to create the best possible life for everyone. And I think that if we keep automating the routine work, it's okay. We can keep on doing that, and we can keep on delegating this kind of work to the beings that can do it better, that can do it more efficiently, because these things are result oriented. But at the same time, we shall keep creating better, not more, but better tools to enhance our ability to connect and to share the emotions without boundaries, without location, without time. And we should enhance our own creative purpose, right? I mean, look at us right now. We are at a remote digital conference, a global conference, and we didn't even buy the plane ticket, and we didn't spend hours flying, or we didn't have to pay for the accommodation. How efficient is this? I mean, this is great, right? So I believe that if we keep on doing such things and automating the result-oriented work, then we're going to be just fine. And this is how I wanted to end my speech. But yesterday, I was watching the live, breathtaking launch of the Dragon spaceship by SpaceX and NASA. And then I remembered something that I saw on the first day when I joined the Giorgi's Innovation and Technology Agency. It was a big poster in front of my work desk on the wall that said that the only accurate way to predict the future is to actually create it. So I encourage all of us today here, including myself, my friends, my family, and all of you, to look inside and think, what is it that we're doing every day to create the future that we as individual human beings would wish for the entire humanity? And I'm going to leave you with this thought. Thank you.
And we are back. Sorry for technical issues. And right now we're going to start our Q&A session.
So the first question is, how do you think we can adjust our educational system to the
Yeah, so I think that if we just keep focusing on what our innate desire and innate drive is, we will not even have to predict how we are going to have to change the educational system. I mean, the emotional work, the emotional, meaningful work that I was talking about would be something that humans will be the best at, right? This is something that I believe we can never teach the robots. I mean, we are creating the artificial intelligence, but we are not creating the artificial consciousness, right? And to feel emotions and to empathize with other people, the being has to be conscious, first of all. And I think that if we do not, even if we don't try right now to adjust our educational system for the future, it is not going to be a big problem, because the robots and the machines that we create will basically, I mean, if we control them and if we still have the desire to control them, then they will be just doing something that we can never do better than them. But for example, we can never lift things from the ground that are heavier than us, or than like 5 times of us, or we can never count some mathematical equations that need 5 hours of work for the quantum computer. So I think these things shall be done by the computer, but the things that are innately our purpose, this is something that we shall focus on and we shall keep teaching each other in schools and in families.
What they want to do in their life and what work to do. Too many opportunities can really make them confused and make it difficult to choose their path in the life. How did you find your path? What would you suggest?
Yeah, exactly. So this was was a part of my speech, that we have so many different things to be done, and there are so many opportunities and so many distractions from what we're doing right now that people can be doing. So remember the Ikigai, the 4 things that make you, find your purpose. Even if you have found your purpose and you're doing something that you love, that you're good at, and that you're paid for and the world needs, you might be thinking, is this really the place that I should be? Because you are watching these, countless things that other people are doing and enjoying themselves, and maybe I can do it better. Maybe I shall be there. And so this is the thought that drives us to try a lot of things. And for me personally, I did exactly that, because when I graduated the university, I was studying physics at school, at the university. And when I graduated, I realized that I did not want to be employed or occupied in my own field, because the field was not very well developed in Georgia. And unfortunately, I didn't have a strong enough mindset to, push myself and go abroad and go on with my career. But fortunately, it ended up in me trying many other different things that I could do better, possibly. And then I found that, to me, it's very important to be doing something that the world might benefit from. And this is how I decided to build products that are scalable and that would make other people happy. So I encourage the students that graduate right now and do not have a sophisticated or strong idea of what they want to do with their lives. They should do everything that they can think of, that their heart desires, and they should try everything. And only then they can find something that is truly meaningful. I believe so.
And maybe that will include working in your company. So the last question is related to that. And if people are interested in working in your company, what are your plans for the company, future plans?
We are a very small team with very big ambitions. So we are going to grow really, really fast, and we are going to need all the talents that we can bring in the company. So we are very open for discussing the collaboration opportunities and possibilities. I am very active on Facebook and also in other social channels. And I would be happy if anyone connects with me and we can discuss collaboration and partnership and working together. I would be more than happy to do so. So for Sopo, I will be waiting for you to write me on Facebook. Okay.
Good luck with that. Thank you very much for your talk. We really enjoyed it, and I think everyone did.
I'm happy to hear. Thank you.
Yes. Now we're gonna have a 10-minute break, and then we'll be back for the
roundtable about business digitalization
with Becca, Alina, Chris, and Christina.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.